Alright guys, here's first view of this Zontes. It's in fairly good condition actually. It's in fairly good condition. I mean, it's absolutely cruddy with dirt. It probably needs a jet wash on it. But oh, so it's a 2016. What's this? Jesus Christ, what is that? I don't even know what that is. Oh, that's the peg. Need to bend that back or buy a new one. I didn't even notice that in the pictures. This kind of shows you what you need to look out in pictures. And we've got a break in this cable here. Speedo. So overall it's in okay condition. It needs that new Speedo cable. I think the shocks are straight, although there's quite a bit of leakage. They look straight. And obviously it needs a new light put on. And we have to work out what all of these are for. Indicators. Okay, cool. Alright, well that's the first look. We'll get a good look at that on the weekend. Okay, so I'm back at the bike. It's about an hour later. One thing I noticed is the ignition is down here and broken. In fact, there's no wires and there's nothing connected to that. So we need to work out what's going on there. When you buy these bikes from these companies, they say it does start, it does run, and it has keys. Now this bike came with keys, but it's very misleading because really this bike should have been sold as no keys because the whole ignition is busted. You can see that up there. Nothing's attached to it, and I can't actually find the rest of the plug. It should be hanging down somewhere. There isn't one. So now that makes my life 10 times harder because I have to work out which plug system here. It's probably that one, brown, black and red. 3 wires, but it could, no, it will be this one, black, brown and red. And I need to find an ignition switch for this which bolts up into here. This has just clean snapped off actually. That's interesting, look, see where it's broke. So I need a kind of a whole, well, I mean technically I'll need a whole system for it. I'll need a new gas cap. Oh no, I've got the key for that. Let's see what's going on down here. This panel's hanging off. This side's obviously had some sort of hit. I mean, you've got this hugely bent thing here. So, overall, what do we have at this stage? We have the bike, the brakes seem to work, except that is the rear brake lever. Yep. So I don't know where the brake light switch is or anything. It would have been something like that. And it's working, but it's all a bit stiff. I think this bike's been sitting for a long time. So it needs a good clean and then it all needs greasing. Now, can we bend this back into place? I don't know. I'm going to try and order a new one actually. It'll be much easier just to order a new one. I don't even know if it goes under this or over it. It would be under actually, wouldn't it? But yeah, and from a switch point of view, have we got one anywhere? Actually, there's the switch right there. That's the switch right there. So that probably hooks to this somehow, and that's what through this, and then that's what pulls the back light on. But we can tweak that and change that. All I'm going to do for now is, I can't try and start it. I mean, I could, I believe if I touch two of these together, that would bring the lights on, but it wouldn't bring them on enough for me to try and start it. The suspension seems straight, and overall it seems like an okay bike. It's got a nice bulk to it. This tank's quite chunky. I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a much bigger feel than a 125, you know. So my list: rear brake lever, new ignition set. Don't need the fuel cap, I've got a key for that. So new ignition set, front indicators, I can't forget that, and headlight, which I've got. I've already got the logbook for this. They did the logbook immediately. That means it came the same day the bike came. That's brilliant. This bike could be sellable on Saturday if I get the new ignition, give it a good clean up. The carb and fuel will probably need draining and a service, and sort out that rear brake. This should actually be good to go. At the moment it owes me 350 plus 60 for delivery, so 350s, so 410. I'm going to try and charge the battery tonight. The front headlight is a tenner, I've got them, they're quite cheap. I don't know about the ignition set yet, maybe 30 quid, and I don't know about the brake here, maybe 20 quid. So it will owe me kind of just under 500. Should sell for around 750. It's got 3 or 4 months MOT left, but I could always put it through for another one. There is oil in there, it's quite high. Looks like it's above the height line, so I might drop that. It's very high actually, look. Can you see in here? Right, so that's it on its side. Now watch. Way above. And it's a horrible colour, so I'm definitely going to drop that oil on Saturday and put new oil in. Absolutely might as well. Carb seems fine. It's exactly the same carb as the one I worked on last week. That means I know it, so it should be a very quick clean. Engine has compression, has some compression, and that's it. That's all we can do for today. That back box has a key and works, but I'll be taking it off. I think the bike will look cleaner and smoother without it. And yeah, that's about it. So front indicators, it's a 16 plate, that's good. Rear brake lever, front headlight I've got, ignition set. If I can't get that specific ignition set for this, I will just buy an ignition and I'll work it out, and I'll probably put it down here. So you turn your bike on down there. It wouldn't have a steering lock, but that's not the end of the world. I mean, this is already going to be a pain anyway, putting on the ignition, because it's right tight, it's right up in there. Yeah, okay, so that's just an introduction video. It probably looks worse than it is at this stage, probably, although it's quite bad. But yeah, stay tuned and I'll show you how this is going. Okay guys, that's it for today. That was just a very quick video showing the next project. I'm going to put up a picture for 10 seconds of the parts I've ordered. I didn't order an original lock set for this because they're 50 quid and it's just not worth it. So I've ordered an ignition, a key ignition, which is absolutely fine, and I'll put it down where I showed you. I've got the battery here ready to go home and be charged. It looks like there's enough acid in it, so it should be okay. And then overall the bike needs a good clean. I bought the same indicators I put on the young ladies last week. I bought a new speedo cable, which hopefully is the right one, because that was 15 quid or something. And yeah, and that's kind of it. So the most ideal situation on Saturday would be that I get that big old Yamaha Thunder Race through an MOT, because the logbook's coming soon, and then I have a couple of hours working on this Mantis. The last thing I've done is I've ordered the rear brake for a different Zontes. It looks similar but not the same. I might have to beat this one back into shape, but ideally the new one will just fit and bolt on and do the same job, but you just can never tell. So that's where we're at. Yeah, keep your eye out for the bike on Saturday, and I'll let you know how the big old Thunder Race does at MOT.